Good morning.
Good morning.
What's going on over there?
There's a dust storm in the tent from all the wind.
Sarah had like a light coating of sand
And
on
now
her
there's
sleeping bag.
a pile over here.
So I guess it was a little windy last night.
Yep. Just a little.
Okay, it's Friday morning, about 8:30. We're gonna keep our base camp at Upper Valentine Lake. Sarah's gonna hang out there for the day. I'm gonna do a little side adventure. Do a little cross-country off-trail stuff, maybe.
Sarah to Brian, testing.
Bag a few peaks. Hold on, I got a radio transmission. Brian and Sarah, how do you copy?
Loud and clear.
So since we're going to be separated, we have these radios so we can keep in touch. And yeah, we'll check in a bit. All right, made it to Dutch Oven Lake. Gonna traverse around the left side of the lake and then get off trail, make a hard right, and start going cross country and climbing. All right, so we're gonna start by heading up that somehow once we get closer. Okay, so I've been off trail for a bit and I stumbled upon what I thought initially was a game trail, but it's pretty defined. I'm wondering if it's an old abandoned trail or a climber's trail or something like that. Have to do some research when I have service, but yeah, we're climbing this first hillside I showed you from Dutch Oven Lake, and then we'll see what it looks like after that. All right, so it's opened up a bit up here, and we're just heading for the top of this and then see what's going on after that. But we're starting to get some views of Dutch Oven Lake behind us, and keeping an eye out for wildlife. That would be an amazing campsite right there. There's definitely a little running stream about a quarter mile below this. Could bring water up here. Can you imagine camping up here? Look at this. I think Sarah could handle this little cross-country trek. Yeah, I think we got to come back in a couple years and maybe get off the grid and camp up here. It would be amazing. All right, we're getting closer to the top of this first rock shelf, and then we'll see what it looks like up there. But we're gonna have some great views coming down. Lots of elk scat in these meadows, so keeping an eye out. And a very distinctive boulder here that I'll be looking for on the way down.
Good morning. It's about 10 o'clock and I'm just hanging out at base camp, listening to some audiobooks and podcasts. But I thought I'd talk a little bit about the differences between what gear we carry when we hike together and what gear Brian hiked with for the PCT when he hikes solo, or like kind of the bigger differences. So the first one is, let's see, here we are. So when we travel together, we use a gravity fed water filter. It's a Katahdin 6 liter, and so we can easily do our water, whereas on Brian's PCT hike, he just used the Sawyer squeeze. We do have a Sawyer squeeze with us as a backup in case something happened to the gravity filter. The other difference is our tent. So Brian used the Big Agnes Copper Spur 2-person for his hike, and we used the 3-person, and we've used that for a long time. That fits both of us, our packs, all of our gear, which is nice. And then the other big difference is how many miles we hike. So Brian on the PCT would hike upwards of 20 miles a day, and that's too much for me. That's why I'm not hiking a long trail. So we hike, generally the max would be 10 to 12 miles, but then we also have some days where we do a lot less miles. Like when we came up over Haley Pass to Baptiste Lake, it was only like 5 or 6 miles. We kind of just like taking our time, getting to interesting lakes. And then we'll also do rest days on the trail for me. So like today I'm hanging out at base camp and Brian is off heading up to Pyramid Peak trying to see his herd of elk again. Hopefully they're there. So I'll just be hanging out at camp reading. I'll work on my sock. Unfortunately, there's something near this campsite that I'm allergic to, so I just keep sneezing a lot. I've taken another allergy pill, but it's just like really annoying. So won't be doing too much, but it's nice and sunny. There's a nice breeze, and I've been able to sit outside, which is nice because the breeze keeps the bugs away. So that's it for now. If anything interesting happens, I'll check back in.
All right, getting close to the top of Valentine Peak, but you can see that glacier in center frame, and that lake under it is Helmet Lake, where Sarah and I hung out for a bit yesterday. Then you got a bunch more lakes over here, but that's going to be Lizard Head Trail. Sarah and I will be on tomorrow. I think this peak is Lizard Head. I think depending on how you look at it, it looks like a lizard head, but yeah, we'll be there tomorrow. And just amazing weather up here. And I think the top of Valentine Peak is right up there, a few hundred more feet. All right, so a little after 10 in the morning, made it to the top of Valentine Peak, 11,000 footer. Pretty amazing day up here weather-wise. Pretty isolated, a lot of solitude. No humans, no animals, but maybe I'll get lucky on the way down. Over here, I think, is Valentine Mountain, right there. I may take a meander over there and see how it looks. It looks a little more knife edgy, but yeah, I think I'll go over there and check it out. There's a really cool, weird named lake over there, Lake X-1. So we'll go see how that's doing. Very tiny body of water. Okay, so I'm on the other side of Valentine Peak, and all this land is part of a Native American reservation. I think this big lake there in the distance is Lost Lake. But yeah, just very expansive on this side as well. And Valentine Mountain's right there. I'm gonna head over there a bit, check it out. All right, so there's X1 Lake down below. And way off in the distance, that big lake is Grave Lake, where Sarah and I were yesterday. Pretty cool area up here. I don't think I'm gonna go all the way down to go back up. It doesn't look like I can do Valentine Mountain anyway. It looks like it's pretty ragged, knife edge, so just nice to get a look at it from here. All right, back on the trail. I was able to radio Sarah, let her know I'm back on the trail and on my way back. This is the junction for Lizard Head, and this is what Sarah and I will be taking tomorrow. So we'll be back in the morning for this one.